Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
Mm-hmm.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds Radiant remaining. Team ban.
I think it's feasible. My only issue is the greed. Like, you're talking about Magnus 4 with a Sky 5. You're talking about 2 supports without disables. At least you have a way of canceling TP with Skewer, but it's not the most reliable. The sounds from Sky as well is there, but there's a lot of ways for MG Trust to kind of dance around that. Now, there's also some strong offensive potential there as well if they have the right lane partners.
10 seconds remaining.
Honestly, it's been so long for the Sky, and it's not usually paired with PA that I can't tell you what to expect. I guess the slow stacking with the dagger and the concussive shot is pretty darn good, though. So if you get caught out by that, there's some potential there to run them down. And Team Star, they go with a Mars. So yeah, I think you're right. It is going to be the support mag with a Mars core. Lots of good team fight here from Team Star. An interesting back and forth, right? Like, you've got the Mars and the Magnus along with the Skyrat Mage. So this kind of team fight lineup up against a Snapfire, Clock, a Leshrac, and Underlord. It is kind of a 5-on-5 sort of draft with Team Star having a harder pause. One, MG Trust, they need to show us what they want here. Like, if they go with a faster pause 1, they could potentially start running down real quick, because PA, we talked about it, Battle Fury tends to still be built up. If not that, and Desolator isn't exactly cheap, and you would want your Magnus to kind of play tag with you to just keep that in power, although support Magnus can do that. So it's going to be an interesting way of going back and forth. MG Trust just needs something that can sort of scale well as well.
Choose your hero.
It's such a hard call to make this time around. I think both teams ended up with fairly even drafts. Their timing spikes are fairly similar as well. I'd say MG Trust should be able to... Ooh. Oh, Masaro's Leshrac. Okay, we've seen MG Trust put the offlane Lesh for Masaros like a couple of times, but mid Underlord, it should be actually pretty darn good against the Ember. I'd say that matchup is a bit better. You talked about the Leshrac versus Ember, right, with the Flame Guard. Underlord doesn't care. He's just going to farm up as well, and he is tankier, so it's harder for DDZ to pull him out. Draft-wise, I would give an edge to MG Trust simply because I think jumping in with Clockwork and Snap is a lot easier. For the side of Team Star, we're waiting for Blinks on Candy. We're waiting for a Blink on Mosin, which as a support mag takes a while. You can potentially make plays with DDZ in the sky and Yamate, but it is kind of easier to punish. I think MG Trust, as long as they hit their level spikes, should be able to start running down and finding these kills.
I do not thank.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tricky time there for DDZ. He's gonna have to really put the work in. Perhaps start considering, having the supports work some stacks up. The issue there becomes that you've got this Ember who needs to go off on a running start, but you have a PA who's going to be playing that jungle with a Magnus. That means, these stacks are potentially shared between the Ember and PA. And that could cause some issues with item spike. So DDZ, it's going to be a hard lane, but he will have to try and maximize that for himself. If not, just focus on the EXP. Maybe once you hit level 6, level 7, you do have more rotation potential compared to an Underlord. Like, that's one thing Fearless can't quite do for his team. Underlord is just such a static hero, especially for mid. It's just really going to focus on that farm, and that is something Star can abuse.
Thirty seconds to battle.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky time as well for MG Trust to get that running start for Jackie. I mean, there's potential if they do get up and running, but Star does have a terrifying level 1 to 3. They're going to have to watch out in the trades. Oh. Yeah, it's not clean. Bit of a shame, Fearless is stuck in this really awkward spot as well, getting skewered up. I think that's because he was just auto-following as well. So you're going to be in a very awkward spot now as MG Trust. Can't really fault them, though. It happens. It's just really unfortunate here. We're going to have to see if they can salvage it. I don't know what the play is for Jackie. I'm not even sure if he's in range. Fearless? Yeah, probably could. Yeah, I think he's in range. Stuck. Yeah.
Oh, that's no
Who wants cookies? Who wants cookies? Too bad. Well, too bad.
Yeah, should be straightforward enough to get home, at the least. And we'll see what the play is. Jackie? Alright, he's fine.
Those who tangle with the sky rat risk the falls no
favored by the gods.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's like a bit of a handicap for them. Of course, we didn't talk about the history between both teams, but in the Pro Series Season 3, first series that new esports back then, up against MG Trust did go 0-2 the way of MG, and the next time they met did go 1-1. So it looks like as time went on, the boys here at Stars have kind of figured it out, and just getting those kills does set themselves up for a good time. I mean, just looking at Jackie, he's going to be a level down compared to Candy Loon. The lane's going to be a slower start, and Candy's just pretty much set to take over. It's just going to be so hard for the Riki now to recover unless Boom Bell can work some magic with a snap. Oh yeah, it's not going to be easy for DDZ to stand there and trade. He did go for, you know, the typical Flame Guard Sleight of Fist, so you can play with Sleight of Fist to kind of help you chop down if you can, but Fearless is in a pretty good spot. Issue is, Underlord's mana pool is pretty atrocious, so Firestorm spam isn't as easy to pull off, and that's something DDZ can use to his advantages. He pokes Fearless pretty hard there. Yeah,
Radiant's courier has been killed.
yeah. No, definitely not. This is kind of the dream farming lane for a PA, right? Like, you're up against this Leshrac, which can be annoying, but you can see Master is holding out in his level. Only has the split rate so far. They do have offensive potential here on the side of MG Trust. If Q can catch someone out with a Battery Assault and Cogs, the issue is they can blink. No, DDC is just using his spells at a really good point. It's down to the timing of that Flame Guard. Fearless uses the Firestorm to clear out the wave. Once that's gone, Flame Guard has pretty much its full duration to just burn through. And Underlord may be tanky against physical, but magic damage early on is a bit of an issue. And because of that push back, they're not going to have the space to secure these runes.
Just fine.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Oh yeah, he's gonna need that refill up and maybe even get stacks out, but just look at DDZ. Every time he gets the chains off, Fearless is just helpless.
Our cavorting days is over, Mortimer.
Not what you expect, not what you expected.
Yeah, it's about to be that 5-minute mark as well, and you were talking about the importance of those bounties. I'm looking up top in the triangle. DDZ's already set to snag that away, so Fearless is not going to get that bottle refill. He wants it all.
Bounties.
It's mine.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Oh.
From Ember. I do not thank.
There's two remnants just on the edge, but not quite enough, and Fearless can be very happy with how the lane is now. He's 10 last hits ahead. He may have missed out on bottle refills, but he's still having a good time. He's gonna find a haste up top, unless Mosin's gonna snag it.
I'm doing my duty to spiky.
Ooh.
The reward will fail. Fear not your death.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just been kind of awkward there for DDZ, winning a bit, but then losing some in these stats. Even the bot lane now, it's a tri lane, and oh. Yeah, it's an interesting build here from Lance as well, Mike. He's going for the Mask of Madness on PA, which you don't tend to see. I guess it lends itself towards the disassembly play down the line, but it can also be a double-edged sword. If you're caught out and you pop that mob, you can easily melt. So we'll have to see how Lance plays around with this potential mom build-up here on the PA.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, it's bot lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you managed to force out the arena, so there's some downtime for Ken Blue now as well. Not getting work time, although.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Eyes out.
I'll not be held responsible for gross incompetence on your part.
Oh my god.
Who purge the elements now? I'll always remember how foolish you looked.
Oh man.
Incoming!
Oh man, it feels like it's been forever, but I'm glad to see these playstyles. You said it, all the bodies tossed up top to save that push. Even if they lost Masaros at the end, he did have Diabolic Edict running while he died next to the tower, and that just gave them the objective. So they still win out in the end, MG Trust. It's 8-7, but a 2k lead coming out here for the Radiant side. They've bought a lot of space out for Jackie, which we talked about, had a slow laning start. He already has the power treads, one Wraith Band up, one Blade of Alacrity, so kind of building into the defusal at a good pace. The key here for Star is that their PA is also somewhat having a free time. It's really just time to get this PA Magnus up and running in terms of clearing the stacks, and it looks like they're set. Mosin's just stalking Lance. It's pretty okay for DDZ. You see the combination coming in though, right? The Pit of Malice with the Earth Splitter, just the chain stun and control that it brings out is pretty terrifying. So Star will have to watch their positioning really well. They don't want to be held down for too long. There's a lot of damage at this point in the game from MG Trust.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures
Yeah.
are fortified.
It's a harder trade here for Star. Like, they're not able to go to any objective. They are smoked up as Trito, maybe going for that defense up top.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Searing heat. The lesson was run. Filtered in the flame. I slip below sight. Own it! You're welcome! Just don't take my father. Your place is here.
Oh,
All season is over. Ash.
no, it's
Dire's
really
middle
back and
tower is under
forth,
attack.
pretty scrappy from both sides, but a 3-for-2 trade on paper sounding better for Star. MG Trust not going to be too unhappy considering they forced out the RP, and they're still forcing in these objectives. The big issue is Star just cannot transition to anything on the map, whereas MG Trust lose a fight, that's fine. We'll go for a different tier
Dire's
2.
middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah. And they literally have done 0 damage to these tier 1s. Like, they need to get these tower trades. We're used to seeing that come out at the first tier 1. You know, if top is taken by MG Trust, you'd expect Star to kind of clump bot instead, but they've been focused on counterfights so much more, and the results have been mixed. Like, I'm looking at Lance. He does have the Mask of Madness on that PA, so the farm can accelerate, rushing the Desolator, and this is a bit of a scary situation for Lance, right? Like, you need a BKB to be up for this PA, so that's going to have to be after the Desolator, and that's a lot of farm you're asking for from this PA to build up to.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Oh. Oh.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Hunting bounties.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, would be a really strong kill to get. Just with a Riki though, might be a bit difficult. But they have the wards, they've got the vision, they're also clearing out space down bot, so they've taken the bot tier 1. If they can find a split up fight, it's going to be easy to follow up after. Ooh.
I am lost, like years in the rain.
It's not clean for Star. They're not finding the best trades. Like, yeah, you find a Clockwork, you lost your Magnus, and I mean, it sounds even because they're both supports, but the Magnus, he's still queuing up that blink. Like, you will need that blink up even as a support, and the progress for our mag is going to be slow. That's always been the issue. You're at the point now where you're trying to share farm with a PA, you're trying to share farm with an Ember who is still trying to buy out the Spirit Vessel. The progression has been a bit too slow for Star, considering the item spikes the heroes need to hit. And you need to start finding a couple of wins soon.
Invisibility!
God Killer has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
Yeah, it's just a lot of value just from that one kill. Again, you're trading your clockwork support, this time for Amora's core. So clear and Jackie?
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower
Man,
is under attack.
that's the best feeling in the world, this Ricky. You've got this squishy sky that you can jump into. You get your combo off, and you can immediately find that kill. Still, the Star has bought enough time for Lance to get that
Dire's
Deso.
bottom tower is under attack.
So we'll see if the investment pays off. Lance needs to be very cautious with the angle he takes, as again, there's so much magic damage, so much control here from MG Trust that one small misstep is going to be punished. And we've seen DDZ be punished already, so Lance has to be on his toes, especially since, again, he went for a Mask of Madness on a PA. That just makes him a lot squishier when he pops it on.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh,
That's one way to cash in.
yeah. Yeah, they're just running down, and we're not seeing any build-up towards, say, even a casual pipe coming out here. We're seeing the BKB rush coming out for our Mars instead. We're seeing the BKB now for Lance, as we've talked about.
Radiant's middle
And
tower is
it's
under
an
attack.
issue of time now. Can they stall out long enough to get that far? The spade here, but they've really sacrificed DDZ and Candy Loon. MG Trust kind of playing around the jungle. Now, there are good wards from Star. That's one thing they've been really on point with, and does prevent the aggression here from MG Trust. Just an easy transition. And I mean, there's no Ember to jump in. They've got all the safety in the world. 20 minutes as well. They're going to get the bounty runes up top, and it's going to be a good time. 5k lead, 18 to 15, 20 minutes in. Star, again, they just need to stall out, and Lance is doing the right thing. Just AFK farming. They know they can't trade, and the first aid just goes for free.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh my god. Oof. I mean, you're talking about PA who's had in power, who's still behind the farm, and Jackie?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Oh man. And they can force the buyback out from the Mars. DDZ.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom barracks have fallen.
Oh.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
Oh my god.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
Steel in your eyes. Kill it with flair.
During heat, let death become peace.
Oh man. What? Oh no.
Understood.
Whew. Oh, that was just brutal. I mean, props to Star. They found a couple of good kills. They hold out. They only lose their ranged racks in the end, so they keep the melee, which means that bot lane's not going to shove out as hard, but that was 2 diebacks. And they were already forced to buy back on DDZ, who was fortunate, as you mentioned, to get the coin flip there and have Masaros lose his mana first. Still, MG Trust, they just reset, they go back up, they know the BKB is up in the PA, and that is down to the 9-second charge, so they should be ready for it this time around in the push.
Balance.
Dire's structures are falling. Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
Incoming!
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh man. It's a bit reckless for Star as well. Like, Lance jumped in, didn't get to pop his BKB. He needs to just use it when he goes in. Whether or not before or right at the moment, doesn't matter as long as he lives true, and he is playing a bit too greedy with that BKB.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Oh, I'll make sure you can.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen. Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Oh boy.
What you see is what
Oh.
on delivery.
Oh boy.
Radiant are scanning.
I slay
A tie to the impurities.
Oh, Candy.
Triple kill!
You, my friend, got owned.
Ooh. You know, I think Candy ended up using his own net. But I kept thinking there was a net on MG Trust and couldn't find it. It's Candy netting himself into those situations, which is not great.
Dire's courier has been killed.
No. It's so difficult. They can wave clear pretty well, but Lance has to burst the important heroes first.
Assassin.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's just playing into the history between both teams. Before Star rebranded from New Esports, they faced off against each other in the Pro Series Season 3.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Behold the horn of Magnus.
Dire team pick.
Clockwork.
Radiant team pick.
Quick.
Feeling great, Mike. It was a fantastic debut game here for both teams, at least for today. What a way to kick it off. Of course, Team Star still sticking to their guns. They go back to that Magnus. They've got the Rubik around this time around to perhaps steal a couple of spells. MG Trust as well. They've got the Clockwork. The Snapfire hasn't been banned out. Team Star did just ban Masaros' Tide and the Void Spirit, the Faces Void that we've seen quite a fair bit as well. So straightforward bans from each, but it looks like it's looking fairly similar. MG Trust could just go for Snap if they wanted, and they do.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
Mm.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Radiant team ban.
Mm. Yeah, it's...
Dire team ban.
I agree with you. Like, support mag has that issue where it is just a spell thrower. The laning phase as well isn't that easy for the Magnus to win out. We saw struggles there for Team Star on the top lane, just kind of trying to get something. I think getting the Rubik as your support though kind of helps out because the Rubik's a lot more solid, kind of setting up these fights, kind of getting you to control as well to start making things happen. You can see Team Star respect banning that Masaros Leshrac, so that's like 2 Masaros heroes already banned out. A lot of respect towards that offlane, but I think Team Star have to reconsider what they do with this Magnus. As you mentioned, probably better on the core role. It's just a question of which position. We've seen it in pause 1, we've seen it in pause 2, and on the offlane. So you've got all of these available for Team Star. If they wanted to, they're going to have to pick and choose. The PA combination as well, it was really hard for Lance. I think the itemization of Lance just didn't help. Like, he went for Mask of Madness kind of to substitute for the Battle Fury, so he's still got something that's farming but has that sustain so he can hold the jungle. It's just that afterwards he was still rushing the Desolator when it didn't really feel like damage was an issue. Like, the only physically tanky hero there was the Underlord, right? Like, everything else was fairly squishy. Leshrac's not that tanky, better cores weren't tanky. It would have been easy enough for the PA to just go in, get in power, do the damage once you have level 2 coup de grace, but they don't. And you see MG Trust, they just banned it and they take the Ember themselves, so that they've got this insane reach. Clockwork Snap Ember, they can jump from a mile away and just find kills.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's amazing. You know, we thought it was the Battle Pass that caused issues from lobby, but the Battle Pass is gone. It's still dropped into 7 FPS. I can count the frames, Mike. I can count them.
Radiant team pick.
Elder Titan.
Yeah. Yep.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I think we've seen core ET a lot more in Southeast Asia. I think we saw it a bit in Season 3, Pro Series Season 3. It's still capable. I'm just worried about core ET plus a Magnus on another core role. I think that's... You're lacking something that can just play make off the bat like Magnus can. But a core Magnus also farms Echo Saber first into the Blink. So you might be stalling out your potential to fight here, which we saw in Game 1. MG Trust, again, they've got Clockwork and Snapfire again, plus an Ember, which can tie into the aggression so much better. There are certain things to consider there for Team Star in bringing their fight out. They have to be very careful about tying themselves into a core ET. I think that has to be support. The core ET is still potent. No, but if it's a support ET plus Rubik just sounds really bad as well. That's 2 pause 4s. One of them has to sit in the pause 5.
Dire team pick.
Bad Rider!
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Ooh. Ah. Yeah, you've got the added advantage here that Team Star cannot sneak in anything with a Purge. So they go with a Jug, right? But you don't have room for a support that can, say, go for an instant Purge. There's no room for Avenge, for one. There's no room for an Abaddon. There's no room for an LC unless Magnus goes mid and, you know, they just kind of slide something else on the off. Juggernaut here, of course, for Team Star. And that's your Magnus hero. That's the Empower target here for Team Star. So a little bit easier for Lance with the spin and the healing ward. There's more potential there for laning aggression with potentially the Rubik and Elder Titan as your lane partners. You can kind of get that done. But I think MG Trust does have a pretty good response. Like, yeah, Jug against Batrider. Once you spin, Batrider can't do anything. At the same time, that spin won't save you from Lasso once that's up. So it's a bit of a back and forth there with this Jug core for Team Star.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
Mm-hmm.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah. It's not very easy to maintain that spam. I like the Slark if it wasn't banned out. I think that would have been really, really strong against the Jug. It's a really weird back and forth because of Omni Slash, but can kind of work in the Slark's favor for the most part. And you can see the Mars being banned out here from MG Trust. Again, we saw that in Game 1. They don't want to deal with it again. Team Star, looks like again they're locking into Magnus as a core, probably mid unless they pick something else here. They've got to show their hand soon.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Silencer.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I think day 1 of the
seconds
Monster
remaining.
Energy Dota Summit 13, we actually saw Among Us March draft that
seconds
silencer as well.
remaining.
And it has been popping in. Southeast Asians been experimenting with it. I'm not sure how I feel about it. That's one way to break out the
Now
fights. And
select
oh
your
my god,
heroes.
MG Trust. They're not joking around. They take the Arc Warden. They're done with this. It's... Ooh. That it is. It is, and it's not the best Arc Warden game in terms of maximizing your bubble in this case, right? You're up against a melee cores for the most part. There's this global silence that can kind of wreck you if you're not careful. It's going to be a great back and forth. I think Team Star has corrected some of those issues with aggression, so they can fight. It's just global silence is a very long cooldown. They have to maximize that every chance they get. They've also got this Candy Loon ET, so it is going to be the off-lane Titan here, the mid Magnus, and the support Silencer. So we'll see how much Candy Loon can bring out in that lane against the Arc Warden. Should be easy enough to at least contest the camps and kind of keep track of that with the Spirit coming out here from the ET. But it's a bit of a shakeup from both teams. I think MG Trust is a lot closer to their Game 1 draft because of the Clockwork Snap. Team Star, they're forced to play a bit differently. The Magnus has shifted roles. Lance is on a more stable pause 1, at least something that can farm up a bit safer and also join fights a bit safer, and can actually opt for the Mask of Madness with not too many issues. I think that's also something for Lance to watch out for. Hard to say who came out on top with draft. I want to say MG Trust, simply because Clockwork Snap, it's just so straightforward, so easy to pull off.
Now shall the battle turn.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well what MG Trust is seemingly opting to do here. They've put Jackie up top, Mike, so it's looking like an early aggressive trialing here first to kick it off, and it's just playing into what you said. What can a Jug really do against the against this Arc Warden and laning? Like, they're already starting Lance down. They actually had a feeling about this and swapping Lance to the offlane as well.
Thirty seconds to battle.
Your grace is noted. Busted.
Yeah, it's
battle
Lance is
begins.
still running around. Yeah, it looks like Candy's gonna swap. Of course, Lance is ready for the Bat Rider lane. This is what they want to avoid here on MG Trust. Talk about Bat versus Jug laning phase. Oh, once you spin for Lance, you just negate all of the progress monsters can make and all of the damage he can get done. So it looks like they will be able to read that well, Star, and that's a big props to them. They should get off to a better, smoother laning start with this lane swap. Well, there's really not much you can do. That's down to Q. They do drag the snap far down here, so it's down to Q on the snap to kind of zone out Mosin as best as possible, try to free up space for Masaros, but you can see Lance already comfy. He's not being forced back. He has his level 1 spin, should be good to go to farm. Now, looking down mid, where we have DDC on the Magnus this time, up against Fearless on the Ember. Fearless is... it's going to be a bit more even here for DDZ in terms of a Magnus versus Ember. Should be able to just find some solid farm coming through for both sides. You do have to watch out for, I want to say, level 3s when an Ember can really start to dish it in compared to a Magnus who just gets steady wave clear. Gonna have to watch for that early spike on the Ember and secure those runes. Don't want the Ember Spirit to get a nice juicy haste rune and start running you down. A costly kill to give away. Like, you let the ET kind of grow big fast. Candaloon can accelerate into this Meteor Hammer. We've seen the Stomp into Hammer just be so brutally effective as well in securing these fights. So you definitely don't want to give these early kills away. Candy's gonna be pleased though. Boombelt for his part is buying space out for Jackie. He's not having a good time in terms of last hits just yet. 9-5 has slowed down quite a fair bit compared to Lance. There's still work to put in here to get this Arc Warden in a good spot.
No.
Denied.
Yeah, I'd say this is actually really strong laning starts. Like, I'm looking at bot again, you can see just how low Q and Masaros get. They just can't afford to trade with Mosin anymore. The Arcane Curse, as you mentioned, is such a brutal laning spell against these heroes that love to spam it out, and because of that, Lance is having the time of his life. 17-8, still slightly ahead of our Arc Warden, but this is just a fantastic start for your Jug.
Flames.
Should be honored.
Yeah, it's an excellent trade to make. I think you were forced to do that if you're Masaros. Again, you wanted to just reset. Yeah, you got a full bottle now as well for your efforts, and you get to go back and try to spam out. Of course, killing off the silencer also gives the opportunity for the bottle refill mid, and DDZ does get done from Mosin, calling him over to just get a full bottle in. You can see the efficiency here of DDZ, just stacking up the jungle in between waves, clearing out the stacks, kind of building himself a nice nest egg. 33-6 compared to our Ember's 25-5. Been a smooth start for DDC.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Silence.
Dire structures are fortified.
it's on the edge for MG Trust. They are still, I think considering the fact that you are laning against Jug who can spin away, against a Silencer who is punishing against this kind of hero, it is still a pretty good result, although mid. Ooh. Yeah, just a... He wins out and forces out that first RP. Of course, Fearless is very fearless. Just never mention recalibration to him. I believe we had a bit of chatter in lobby. He, not the best of times to recalibrate, friends. Gotta double check if you really want to risk it. Not good enough, you know? 6-4. Ha! You need to win 10-0 and lose 200 MMR. That's how it is. Yeah. It is. It is. Still, what else is a problem here is the fact that, you know, Star is still having a fantastic start. I think the key things for MG Trust is that you've got level 6 and Lance ahead of Masaros' 6. So now you have to watch how far deep you want to dive with your Flame Break, and he is Contempt Fate. Q?
I'm sorry, Mortimer.
No. It was a bit awkward though. Like, you can see what they were trying to do. Q was baiting out after the spin. He got the cookie off. He got the scatter blast off. Not quite enough damage on the edge. And that's been the story of this series, of this game at the least. 2-3, 1k lead for Star, but there were so many close calls. Both sides are just being a lot more cautious, or rather, maybe reckless would be the right word, but on the edge of what would be acceptable. You can see DDZ now is trying to scout around the jungle, is going to intercept some farm from Masaros, and again, just setting our Bat Rider back by a fair bit of farm. And this early movement into the jungle is just going to disrupt that early buildup that MG Trust wants to secure for their cores.
This, the lesson was, run.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, they're still finding those wins. As you mentioned, the Midas is up here for Jackie, so it's time to just play with the clones going around, getting the Midas usage out. They might go for something here though.
Try help.
Ooh.
That's nice.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yep, and that's again the big story. Like this Arc Warden free farm versus a Jug free farm, it's not really comparable. Look at Jackie's already level 9, Lance in comparison is 7, hitting 8. They will find a tier 1 bot first because of the siege creep right next to it, but Fortify is forced out. Tried to get the same trade up top. Should be able to find the tower trades, but MG Trust is going to line up for a different objective. Looking mid. It's just one here defending. Mosin's got to be careful with his spacing here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is falling. Radiant structures are fortified.
Not the strongest enemy I've grappled with.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He was just outside of range of casting the Omni. Like, he was trying to chase in to get the Omni off, but couldn't gap close enough, and that's one issue with a Jug. Omni/cast range can be awkward against some range targets, and against something like the Bat, you know, when you're kited around, it is rather difficult. You can see the emphasis here from MG Trust. They don't play slow. They're buying space out for the chorus. They're shoving in key objectives. Again, keeping that pressure in that mid-tier 1. Star now can't afford to go around farming because they cannot allow the mid-tier 1 to fall as well.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Clear the way.
Oh, that is so juicy. What a good play coming out from MG Trust. Taking the mid-tier 1, taking these stacks, getting the farm away from Lance. And this is just what you want as, you know, when you draft the Jug Mag, you want to clear these stacks. They need to get some control back in the jungle now, Star. They've lost 2 tier 1s. They did take one for down bot earlier on, but they need to kind of trade here. They need to go for the mid-tier 1 when they can. They've got Global Silence. They have to play with that spell. We talked about it from draft. It's a long cooldown. They need to maximize it every single time. Yeah. Yeah, there are some good timings as well on top of that. You see the blink up on Masaros, so they can get that easy lasso access in the back line now with a Bat Rider. Potentially looking to really just blow out Mosin. I think you will have to focus on that silencer, take him out when the Global Silence is up to prevent it from being casted, or hunt the Jugger Magnus, and there is a smoke out wanting to reveal the site.
Horns on which to waste them.
No, no. Yeah, a bit of a wasted spell. That will give MG Trust some opportunity to go around if they want to. I mean, they lose Boom Bell, but they did force out 2 big ults. And if we talk about the cooldowns there, Mike, those are not short spells. And MG Trust, what did they really blow? Lasso, which it's not too long now, just half a minute off. hook shot in 15. There is a blink from Star, but you're not playing with that blink without RP.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's getting a bit scary. Like that lead here for MG Trust has been consistent, 3k lead. It's not like the other cores are lagging too far behind. Like Masaros and Fearless are actually keeping pace with Lance, which is again a jug with Empower. So you're really not building too much of a lead with the Empower here. The only saving grace is that DDZ is in a pretty good spot. Is second in pack, so you have that, but they haven't really focused down on Jackie, which is surprising. Like we talked about Star having a much faster draft, much more aggressive heroes. They have not focused on that aspect, and it's almost a similar playstyle to game 1, except MG Trust is also playing slower because of Jackie, but they still found the objectives. Like they're starting to shove in the top. There are lots of rates just watching around now, so a TP defense is going to be hard, and it's just going to naturally chip way down as Star are smoked up though.
Incoming. My armor up.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's a decent kill. I think that's one of the best kills Star has picked up in the past few minutes. Taking down Fearless, of course, delays the Ag's timing. And this is a bit of an awkward ramp up for Ember. He ults into the straight Ags, so it's important to get it at a very early timer. Every single moment it's delayed for Fearless is never nice. That near miss down bot as well. I think you're happier if you're Star. Like, yeah, you expended the Omni Slash, but it's not like Lance has been joining these fights. You can see it as MG Trust wasting the lasso instead, so Masteros is offset for a bit. Gonna have to wait out a bit more. Does need the Yules, which is fairly close. 1,000 golden bank, about 650 off until he finishes up the Yules. Once you have that in your Bat Rider, should be in a better spot to kind of contest. In fact, that's what we're lacking here from MG Trust. Defensive items. Like Yules on Fearless is nice. After the Ags, though, you need a BKB. Right, like you saw it there. When that Yules is on cooldown, you're just kind of screwed. They will need additional defensive items, but again, the pace of the game is so slow that you can't fault them for not having it. They're just farming anyway. Again, Candy.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, it's as you mentioned, just rinse and repeat, get the space out for the Arc Warden, and Star is now just playing this awkward game where, for some reason, they want to play a farming game against Arc Warden. Like Lance, again, it's not a support Magnus, so you don't have DDZ babysitting you to feed you some empowers. This is a lot slower for pacing. They're going to TP for the defense. Oh. Oh.
Never hear the end of this.
Oh. Yeah, why not? Jackie's already got the Maelstrom Mjolnir up, so fully upgraded, can really just play that split push game now. Star has not progressed beyond that tier 1 bot, which is again the same issue we saw in game 1. Star couldn't take objectives then, and it's not too much better now. It's just the tier 1 bot they've taken out. They need to find more. The mid tier 1 has got to go for Star so that we can start to invade that jungle and play a bit more aggressive. It's just they don't have the opportunity to do so.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The enemy should be seen and not heard.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, as long as they transition that into an objective, I think you're not going to have too many issues. The issue is they've lost their tier 1 bot. They're forcing Lance back once more up top.
Radiant's courier has
you can
been
see the
killed.
back and forth here. The issue is that the Kisses of Q get cancelled by Global. So after this Ags, Q, I think, has to consider a BKB as well, just to kind of pop it afterwards, or maybe a self-purge. A Lotus Orb wouldn't be too bad as well for a support snap. But even if they lost 2 heroes, you already talked about it earlier, Jackie just free farms. Lance does not get the same space out, and that lead with the Arc Warden is growing wider. It's about 2k now, and Jackie's eyeing the Roche.
Dire are scanning.
Regeneration.
Yeah, and he's rushing into that Hurricane Pike as well, so it's going to be easier for him to get himself in a good spot.
Radiant's
Once
bottom
that's up,
tower
and
is under
because of his
attack.
farm, that's going to be up really soon, just about 1,000 gold away. So once you've got that, you're in a really comfy spot on the Arc Warden. You can see Q as well. The Ags reveal not the most impactful, but now that's going to give... It's going to put Star on edge, because now they have to worry about this ridiculous range on the spit out. I even forget how far that actually is, but it's just ridiculous. It's insane. Star though, brave move. They do smoke up. They have the RP and global silence. It's their time to make a play if they want to. Oh. Oh.
middle tower is under attack.
Oh! Oh man. Boombell doesn't care. He threw his body out for a good cause. That is the saddest way to watch a jug die. I think we've seen a lot of heroes die across the years, Mike. That was the saddest one. Hands down the saddest moment I've ever seen. If I had a small tiny violin, I'd play it. That was just painful. But Star getting a bit complacent. Again, they pop the GS, sure, you break out the kiss, yeah. But everything else from MG Trust still lines up. You were playing without RP, and Global Silence alone is just not enough. RP is the follow-up, and they just can't land it without DDZ. You know, when they commit it early, have to line up that initiation a bit better here. If you are Star, the lead is still widening, and you still have opportunities to play, but their objectives are melting.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Nope. You just toss that double around. They're going to find another tier 2. So that's going to be one outer tower left for the side of Team Star. They're maximizing the time they have outside, farming the jungles up. But you've got the situation now. Fearless has the Ags up, rushing the BKB next. And Ember with Ags is just insanely mobile. Like, they've been trying out all their big spells to catch him out. They're going to have to do it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah.
Dire's middle tower.
I mean, that was actually really perfect timing on the Aegis. That was, I believe they were just a few seconds off from it expiring. So Jackie, knowing when it would expire, maximizes it in the biggest way. Now you're in an awkward spot. Star, no RP, no global silence, high ground exposed. Fortunately, MG Trust doesn't look to be in complete position, but look at Candy just melt from the double.
Oh. Boom! There it goes.
Oh. Oh. Oh man. Ooh.
Ember strength now rekindled.
They need to get better team fights. Like, the RP flies in, but they don't have the follow-up Earth Splitter. And when you don't have that, what's the Elder Titan pick for? Like, a walking aura? If you wanted the ET for that, it didn't have to be a core. You know, it didn't need to be a core ET in that case, and I think that's the biggest issue here. They're not able to maximize the ET in the team fights. We only see GS, we only see RP scattered, and look at this, Lasso.
The silence is broken.
No.
Melted in the flame. Behold, a subtle
Yeah,
bird.
just a bit of a game of tag. I think in the end, Star is happy holding on to their high ground because they found that kill on the Arc Warden. Jackie has to be a bit cautious, cannot underestimate the damage out. But of course, we're seeing some ways to play here. Yamate is now key for how these fights break out.
Hear myself.
Coming.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
No, they threw their bodies out, Star, just a bit too far forward. Get punished for it. MG Trust now gonna find basically every objective if they want. Like Silence is, Global Silence is a bit far out, RP is a bit far out, although
Is under attack.
Got my ear.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
no. They definitely won't. They're gonna be in a bit of an awkward spot. EDZ's RP still some time off, 14 seconds away, but they're gonna lose their racks first. So maybe wait out the cooldown of RP and then look for the play. Otherwise, they just have to surrender that the high ground has been lost. And MG Trust not playing too overconfidently. They do pull back. Top wave is still shoved out. We're gonna have to correct that. Roche is up as well. Could be prime time for MG Trust to just set their eyes onto that Roshan first.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Coming in.
They've got to get a win with this smoke. They've got the RP needs to be big. Oh no.
Double damage.
Yeah, they've got to be a bit cautious. Got to be cautious in the next fight. They've got the Swift Slash at the least here on Lance because of the Ags and they smoke up. They want the Roche, but they're aware. No, no way. No.
Claire's here.
Oh, DDZ? The damage of that is just ridiculous. And MG Trust, just with those small plays, with damaging the Magnus enough, and with dodging the death on Boombell, they save the Aegis. It's not going to be taken in Mosin. Ooh. Is that... Yeah, it's still going. Long way to Mosin. There you go. Awkward. That's a long ride.
And it's off.
Oh. Yep. Don't, but smoke on MG. Oh no. Oh yeah. It's the smart play. I mean, they're just so farmed up now in MG Trust. They know that even if the buybacks are there, what do you do? Without RP, without Global Sounds, sure you have Omni Slash, but we've already got the tools here to stop it. There's Yule's up, that Aeon Disc on Fearless has been so game-changing in these initiations. And now they force the buybacks, but there's nothing that can happen for Star. So you bought back, you can do nothing but farm up, not find any kills, and that opens up the rush for MG Trust. Oh yeah.
Immortality.
Ooh man. Star, it's got to be a perfect high ground now. I mean, they've got RP, and that is one of the better spells for a high ground defense. They just need to line it up. Like, these two-man RPs are big, but you can't focus on Fearless. Oh no. Yeah, it's 2 times. I think that's the first time we've seen lassos twice over in Illus. So... that... Yeah, just jumping the gun, which it has paid off for Masaros before. In Ninja Gear, and he's got his talents anyway, so the cooldown of that lasso is pretty low. Not too much of a waiting time, as they're starting to eye that last set of racks, and this is where the high ground defense has to be perfect. Jackie is just going to chip away by himself. They pop Fortify for a Tempest double.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Especially the Princess Knife, Mike. You know? Perfect. Oh boy.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Yep. Oh boy. I mean, we were talking about high ground defense with the RPs. They have no opportunity because of how they're playing, and Fearless just flickers a few units down, and here we go again.
Dire's middle tower.
They're tier 4 still.
Dire's top barracks has fallen. Dire's top barracks are under attack. The Radiant now have mega creeps.
Nope. Definitely not. That's just one kill. Oh, RP? No? I think they're confident. They just want to close this one out. They know they've got this opportunity. They buy back because there's no RP for 100 seconds. No global silence for 40. Like, again, there's just nothing Star can actually do in a big fight. And refresh Ember for Fearless. I've seen it all. I saw refresh Storm, if you believe it, Mike, and OEDL, and now this. Cool.
Still burned. Be ensnared.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's ancient is under attack.
Oh my god, that was spectacular performance. Star looking a bit